Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Herb's Comic Book Journey. This week, we go back into the Marvel Universe, except this time, we are talking about one of my favorite superhero groups growing up. It is the first family of Marvel Comics, and that is the Fantastic Four. Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm as Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing. Only difference is we're not reading the original made by Stan Lee. We are doing the Ultimate Fantastic Four Origins. And this one is a lot different than the regular series. The Ultimate line is easier for readers to start off. This comic for reading comics. This one is around 2005 when this issue came out. So let's start from the beginning of the origins, because it doesn't start off how you see Reed and Sue, Johnny, and Ben. They're all going out into space, and they get with Victor Von Doom, and they get this whole entire ray just beamed at them, and then they become the Fantastic Four when they crash land back into Earth. This one's completely different. So let's start from the beginning. It starts off with Reed Richards. He's born and his family are happy that he's as a baby and everything. And then it fast forwards to when he's about, want to say about 12 years old. Reed gets in a lot of trouble. And when I mean trouble, I'm not talking about like he's mischievous or anything. He gets bullied a lot by other kids and stuff like that. His dad is really kind of a piece of shit because he doesn't understand him. He yells at him and screams at him and everything like that. So the one person that is by his side is his protector, his friend, his bodyguard is Ben Grimm. Ben is a lot bigger than him. He's like a diesel kid at 12 years old. So, so in the midst of all this, as he's getting jumped by a whole bunch of kids, Ben pretty much swoops in and beats the shit out of all of them. They become friends, and as time goes on, you see that Reed is taking a lot of stuff around the house, dismantling it, trying to do experiments and make inventions and stuff like that. And at the same time, he's pissing off his dad. Even though his mother shows a lot of love and concern for him, his father's really an asshole. He's a prick, if you will. So getting back into it, he takes one of his experiments, and then it just all of a sudden it goes boom inside, because he's trying to use a new experiment to where he can teleport things from one place to another dimension. Now, he takes it to the science fair at his school, and in the midst of him doing his project in front of everyone, he has this toy, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And at the same time, while this is all happening, you see somebody from the government sees it and says, "Hey, we found somebody." So in the midst of all of that, he goes ahead, and the guy from the government comes to his parents' house, says, "Hey, we need you. We want your kid because he's special and gifted. We want him to come along with us." His dad's being an asshole again. "All right, well, what is this going to cost us?" And he's like, "Nothing. We're actually paying you to make sure that your son could come in and work with us." And they're working at the Baxter Building, which is in the middle of in the heart of Manhattan, is what they say, of Manhattan, New York, where Reed meets Dr. Storm and his son and daughter, Sue and Johnny. So as time is going along, Reed is getting older. He's working on a lot of experiments. Him and Sue start to become a couple. They start showing a lot of love towards one another, and also in the midst of this, Reed's family really forgets about him, which I think is kind of really a dick move. You're getting paid off of your child, going to do this work for the government at a young age. I mean, what the hell? So, long story short, time goes on. His family forgets about him. He goes on about his business. But he's working on an experiment to where Reed has failed so many times to find out the formula for human about to have a herb word, human interdimensional space travel. And in the midst of this, Victor Van Dam, it's not Victor Von Doom. This universe, the Ultimate Universe, is Victor Van Dam. So it's not the typical Victor Von Doom that you would usually see any other issue. So Victor Van Dam one day just barged into his room and kind of like snooping around and stuff, and saw his formula. And Victor said to him, "Hey, I'll go ahead and figure out this formula because I solved it already. I can solve this. Can you help me out with my robotic work that I need help with?" So he agrees to it, even though he feels like dude just went snooping through all my shit. And I'm really not feeling it, but hey, he's helping me out. So time keeps going on, and eventually Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Victor make their way out to Vegas desert with Dr. Storm, and to try to work on this finish up this experiment to try move an apple through time and space. So, but he also called Reed called Ben to say, "Hey Ben, you've been a dear friend of me. I want to see if you can make your way out to Vegas." So Ben, being the friend that he is, he finds a way to get out to Vegas. So as the whole entire experiment is going along, they have a safe zone where nothing should be able to go ahead and get past the rays that's going to be beaming should not be able to hit them. But what Reed doesn't know is that Victor switched up the formula in the midst of all, right before the experiment took place. What the hell? So Victor changes up the formula, and then all of a sudden, boom, this whole entire experiment just goes haywire. So much so that the rays exceed expectation and gets into the actual area where the safe zone is. In the midst of that, it's this monster that's just there. It's like a stringy monster and everything. So the government's like, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. They start shooting and shooting and shooting, and all of a sudden these bullets just come flying back at the army or the military to go and hit them back. And the only reason why they stop is because they hear Reed saying, "Help me, help me, help me." So in the midst of that, they stop. They see that it's Reed, and he is stretched out as much as he can humanly possibly do, and then some. And this is where we get the power that we know Reed as the Mr. Fantastic, the rubber band guy. So, but the only thing about it is Sue's missing, Johnny's missing, Ben's missing. It's just Reed. Victor is nowhere to be found. So one thing that going on into it, we find out that Ben is covered in rocks and he's in the middle of nowhere, to the point to where he gets up and he's scaring kids, and this car is trying to make its way to him and almost runs him over, but in the midst of that he flips the car. So as that happens, you see that Johnny is somewhere in another country, but he's in a hospital, and all of a sudden you see this nurse trying to talk to him, but in a different language. And then all of a sudden Johnny, just in the bed, turns into this, as we know as the Human Torch. He turns into this fiery figure, and he's screaming and yelling. But in the midst of that, the water and the whole entire in the hospital start. You know how they have the drain, the fire sprinklers start coming on them. Sue, we find her in a dark and smelly area where it's like, oh my God, it's a whole bunch of little creatures, monster people just rolling around, and it's this guy that's just standing right there, just hovered over top of her, and he's known as the Mole Man. So eventually Johnny and Ben find their way back to to be with Reed, and they're still running experiments. Now, in the midst of this, Ben is sitting there saying, like, Reed, what the hell happened to me? Did you do this? And sadly, he says, like, yes, this was me. And he's like, and as he's running at him, he's like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? Because Reed turns into the Rubber Man and just wraps his whole entire body around him to stop him from hitting him. As this goes along, Reed is sitting there like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I'm going to fix this. Ben is looking at him like, what the hell did you just do to yourself? So they go back to in another room, and they're talking with Johnny, and then all of a sudden this big, huge monster just comes out in the middle of the street, just bursts from the ground and just rises up and just starts wreaking havoc. Johnny, being the person that he is, because he's so hot, pause. He's like literally hot, leaning up against the window. He melts the glass and falls through at the top of a building. And in the midst of his experiments, he noticed that he can turn on flames. He can flame himself on by yelling out, flame on, flame off, flame on, flame off. He says flame on. He turns into this fiery figure, but he also finds out as he's falling out the window that he can fly, which is kind of cool. And actually, out of all of them, he's my favorite character. So he's going around flying and everything, but him being the person thinking about the people down below, he rushes at the monster, and Ben sees. He's like, "Well, shit, I'm not gonna let these people just get hurt by this monster. Hell, I'm a rocky figure. What's the worst that can happen to me?" And he just runs at him and just they start beating on the monster. Then Reed jumps in as well, but he's coming out looking like an actual like a ball, and he jumps out there and just goes on. And in the midst of all this is going on, Dr. Storm says to him, no, don't do this. Let the Ultimates go ahead and take care of this. Now, also, because this is a different universe, this is the Ultimate Universe. The Ultimates are this realm's version of the Avengers. So he says, let the Ultimates take care of this. He's like, oh, I got this shit. So as this is going along, Reed is wrapping himself around the body of the monster, and Ben is just beating the shit out of this whole entire monster. So much that he hits it so hard that it falls back into the ground. As the animal falls back, the monster falls back into the ground. They jump in, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna take all my anger that I have for you, Reed, on this damn monster." So they all go down in the hole, and they notice there's more little monsters. So he's Ben, being the person that he is, he's like, it's I don't know what to say, but I'm gonna go ahead and save this for later. So let me beat up these monsters. And for those of you who know the real term, it's clobbering time. So, which is actually kind of funny, bringing it back to the original comic strip. Then they go ahead and start beating up all these monsters, but then find out this is the same exact area where Sue is. Sue runs away from the Mole Man, and she starts turning invisible as she's running into Reed's arms. Reed is sitting there like, "What the hell is going on? Oh my God, this is you're turning invisible." She's saying like, "Oh my God, you're stretching." She says, "Oh my God, Johnny's on fire. What the hell is that thing?" Talking about Ben. And as this is going along, Ben, being the person that he is, starts, the brave soul that he is, just starts beating the hell out of all these little monsters, so much that he is clobbering, pun intended, clobbering everything that's underneath of the city, and the ground just starts falling down on him. But Sue, finding out her powers, puts a huge force field around all four of them as the everything starts crumbling around them. So they're in a force field that helps them just not get crushed. And meanwhile, after all of this is said and done, we still don't know where Victor Van Dam is. And that is the end of the origin story. Now, like I said earlier in this video, it's a lot different in this one because Victor Van Dam is really Victor Von Doom in the original. So this one is different. You have the Ultimates, who are the Avengers. And this isn't taking place to when it's the older Reed Richards, where he's like got the gray hair and everything. He's like 21 years old. So he's still learning. He doesn't have that confidence that he has in any other ones that we remember him in. And they don't have the code names like the Human Torch, the Invisible Woman, the Mr. Fantastic, and the Thing. They don't even have the Fantastic Four moniker because this is a different universe. So this is the base of it. Like I said, they eventually find out where Victor is, but we're going to save that for another time. But yes, this is an amazing story. I had fun reading it, learning a little bit more about this series than the original series written by Stan Lee. It's a really dope ass story, and I hope you guys check it out. You know what? This week, you guys go ahead and DM me saying exactly what you would like to read, like me to read up on. I had a few that I was thinking about. The Boys, from Amazon, from the fame of Amazon Prime, which is the show on there, which is an actually dope ass show. Even more rough and gritty in the book, from what Trey told me. We also have Deadpool. My mother was asking, "Hey, when are we gonna hear about She-Hulk?" So that would be a dope story to read upon. You guys, fill in the comments and tell me what you think that I should read this week. I'm leaving it in you guys' hands. But until then, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had fun making it. Hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. And be sure to read up on it. It's in the Marvel Universe app. And you can go ahead and look it up on any other website to go and pick it up. So until then, Peace.